The plane story just won't go away for Donald Trump, and he is not helping matters. So, obviously, over the weekend, we learned that Qatar was going to gift Donald Trump a palace in the sky, a 747 rough cost $400 million, so that he could use it as his de facto Air Force One until he retired from office, left office, at which point it would be donated to his presidential library. Now, understandably, this caused some reaction because it's a $400 million gift from a country that is sort of a frenemy of ours. And yet, Donald Trump continues to fuel the fire of this story over and over and over again, despite the fact that it's clearly a bad story for him. So let's just go. I bring you to 2:50 a.m. local time in Saudi Arabia this morning, when Donald Trump said this on Truth Social: "The Boeing 747 is being given to the United States Air Force and Department of Defense, not to me. It is a gift from a nation, Qatar, that we have successfully defended for many years." He then added, "This big savings will be spent instead to make America great again. Only a fool would not accept this gift on behalf of our country." Now, whether he knows it or not, he's just he's shoving lighter fluid, he's spouting lighter fluid onto this fire because he's just giving it more and more and more oxygen, right? The more he talks about it, the more it's going to be in the news, the more Republican elected officials are going to be asked about it. And that's what's happening, right? So even as Trump is sending out that Truth Social post, and by the way, after that, so at like 3 o'clock in the morning, he shared a post from a supporter of his who compared the $400 million plane gift from Qatar to France giving us the Statue of Liberty, which is not an apples to apples comparison, people. But regardless, so he's doing that. Meanwhile, you're continuing to see something interesting, which is a rebellion from some of Trump's sort of consistent allies. So the New York Post is owned by Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch has had an on-again, off-again relationship with Trump, but broadly speaking, it's on again. Well, here's what the New York Post editorial board wrote on Wednesday morning. "What is President Trump thinking? He's bragging of winning a $400 million gift, a palace in the sky Boeing 747-8 jet, from Qatar that, in effect, he'll eventually own personally. Sorry, this gift is far from free. Qatar will surely expect something in return. And the optics are beyond awful, especially as Congress mulls hundreds of billions in Medicaid cuts." Yeah, that pretty much covers it. Then there's this from John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader. He said that there are, quote, "lots of issues associated with that offer, which I think need to be further talked about." Or this from Ted Cruz, a very loyal Trump ally these days. Cruz said, "I also think that the plane poses significant espionage and surveillance problems, so we'll see how this issue plays out." I guess we'll just see how it plays out. So the story isn't going away. And it's because it's so understandable, right? I have made videos and talked about the crypto scam that is what the Trump family is doing. The meme coin, the crypto bank they've set up. I mean, it is very pay for play, but people don't understand crypto, right? They don't really get it. It requires sort of like them digging into the story that they're probably not going to do. Everybody gets a really, really nice plane, right? Everyone gets that. And they get that no one gives you a $400 million gift and doesn't expect anything from it, right? They might not expect something today, but it's like a Godfather wedding scene. One day I will come to you and ask a favor, and on that day, etc., etc. It's kind of like that, especially because the plane isn't going to convey to the next president. It's going to the Trump Presidential Library. So it's effectively his plane. So I would say Republicans want this story to go away as fast as possible because there have been some good news developments here. Let me just give you a few. Price of eggs is down, dropped 12.7% in the last month. U.S.-China deal, or at least the trade war is on pause, at least for the moment. Aiden Alexander, the Israeli-American hostage, released. There's a lot of positive things. All the investment Trump is getting out of the Gulf states on this trip. There's a lot of stories that are good for Donald Trump and good for Republicans happening right now. The problem is the plane is dominating everything, right? The plane, and he continues to allow it to because he continues to talk about it. And the more he talks about it, the more other people are going to ask about it, the more coverage it's going to get. And it's all whatever the opposite of a virtuous cycle is for Trump and Republicans. Now, will he give in? Typically I would say no, because Donald Trump is a guy who doesn't like to do what he thinks the establishment or the elites are telling him to do. It's why Pete Hegseth is still the Secretary of Defense. So I don't think he'll give in. I don't think he'll say, I've decided not to do it. But he is utterly changeable and unpredictable. So if there was a Truth Social post at 3 o'clock in the morning, local time in the Middle East, tonight or tomorrow morning that said, I've decided not to do this because, we're going to get a great plane from somewhere else or whatever, it wouldn't stun me. But right now, I think he is dug in. And when he is dug in and he views it as him versus the elites, he stays dug in. But this is a terrible story for the Trump administration and one that they would very much do well to get away from. The problem is Donald Trump doesn't seem to want to get away from it. Okay, as always, I ask you to do one thing. Subscribe. It's free and it's easy. Hit that subscribe button. You get a ton of free content every single day. And so do it. All right, everyone, take care.